Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Trent and Zyori podcast. We are here on Thanksgiving. It is November 22nd, 2018, 8:30 a.m. here, Mountain Time, bright and early before we get family festivities kicked off for Turkey Day, or I guess not for either of us, but for all of you out there. Trent doesn't celebrate American Thanksgiving because he's Canadian. I actually thought you guys did something, but you don't.
Nope. We still have the Black Friday sales, though, so we get all the best parts of it.
That's true.
Without the hanging out with your family.
And you get Cyber Monday there.
Yeah, we get all the Thanksgiving done early, though. Our Thanksgiving, if you guys don't know, is in October. It's kind of around the start of the month, like somewhere between the first and second week sort of deal. We shoot guns, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm a little jelly. It sounds slightly better than our Thanksgiving. I'm not going to lie. This year we're doing a Friendsgiving, so Carlo's workout nerds are going to come over. Jenkins and Ellie are going to hang out. Carlo's girlfriend, my girlfriend, and maybe a few other plus ones, and we're going to have a good old time. We got some booze, got a couple of Molsons to make fun of Jenkins. We're making some pork ribs. Of course, we're making a big old turkey. We got a 17-pound turkey. So if that's not enough to feed 10 people, then I don't know what is.
Who cooks the turkey, Carlo?
Well, one of our friends is bringing it over, and I'm not sure if that means he's just bringing the turkey and we're cooking it, if he's pre-cooking the turkey
find that out.
and warming it up. Well, I'm prepared for every situation. You know, we cleaned last night. We moved some furniture. Well, I know he's coming over. Hopefully, I'm a little nervous about this myself. Okay, you've actually just triggered something that I woke up early nervous about the turkey. Carlos swears it's all going to work out. I told him that the man bringing the turkey needs to show up way before everyone else because you're right. We looked at the formula and it'll take a good 6 hours to cook that bad bird. So
that thing should be in the oven.
I think
right now.
I think we're going to be fucking starving tonight, waiting for this turkey to finish after we finish all the mashed potatoes.
You should seriously call him right now. You should message Carlo right now and say, dude, you need to call that guy.
He's coaching,
and ask him
dude.
if he's putting it in the middle.
He's in the middle of a fucking sesh. I talked to him about this last night. He got home and I said, dog, I'm nervous about the turkey situation. And he said, don't worry, it's fine. Paul's coming over at 11. And I said, 11? What happened to 10? I thought he was coming over at 10. And Carlos said, don't worry, 11's fine. The plan is to eat at 6, not to eat at 4 like I originally thought, which is a pretty late Thanksgiving. I think some people are going to be passed out. But God, I digress, dude.
It's going to be turkey time.
Yeah, it's going to be a fucking adventure. I'm not running the operation. This is not a Zyori op. You know, if this were Midas mode, we'd be eating turkey first thing. Remember, we did Midas mode this time last year during Thanksgiving, and if you recall, we arranged for a goddamn Thanksgiving to happen. Slax's mom came over here. She cooked a turkey. She cooked a feast. We paid for it, but still, it was awesome. We had a real proper Slaxgiving.
My first American Thanksgiving, yeah.
Standards run high around here, and I'm going to be pissed. We got some ribs to hold us over. Carlo got one rack for 10 people, so we each get 2 ribs. So hopefully that'll last us until the turkey.
Some finger food. Okay.
Exactly.
Are you putting bacon in the turkey or on the turkey?
No. Is that a thing? You do that?
That was the Mackenzie classic for sure. It's definitely strips of bacon along the top of the turkey, so it kind of cooks on top and seeps in.
Okay. I could see it.
Big fan.
Yeah, I mean, why not grease it up? We cover it in butter. I mean, we slather that thing in butter. Like that thing's about to prevent some sunburn. You know, we're going in on that.
Some Kramer bird right there.
Yeah, exactly. So this is episode 146, I think. No, Jesus, 136. I added 10. I really wanted to get closer to the 150, although we're making some progress here, Trent. Today we're talking about the KL Major. That's going to be our number one topic. We're going to talk patch 7.20 and maybe a little bit of Artifact, though I don't think either of us have too much to say about it because
really don't.
It's been all Dota for me, baby. It really has. I've even been playing pubs, losing some pubs, but still playing.
Dude. You've been grinding.
Yeah, yesterday was brutal, though, man. What you been playing? You been getting a handle on this patch? Or?
I got to play 2 games. I snuck in at night, but other than that, that's it. I played 1 game of Bane and 1 game of Lich. Lich? Jesus, that hero is so broken. Oh, my God. Get your Lich games in, by the way.
Yeah, I've seen him in a lot of games, have not played him yet. I feel like Ogre is the big winner, dude. Ogre is top tier right now. In my 3K pubs, dude, you just run at people, you get some early kills, you get the Midas, and man, that guy, I've seen a few games legit carried by our position 4 Ogre that ends up getting more farm than our mid. Have you ever seen a 4X Midas? It's pretty cool. It's not only good for getting farm, it's also amazing at pushing out waves. You ever seen a 3x hex stick there on the enemy team? Yeah, that's a fucking game changer.
I will say, that's been pretty cool. I've seen a couple. I was trying to think of some items earlier. I was thinking, like, imagine if you just, like, halberd an entire team. Like, that's like an ultimate.
Yeah.
It is pretty crazy.
Yeah. It's fucking insane. You go Midas, Aghanims, and then Blink Dagger, whatever you want, and you just ogre them up. I mean, Lion is also quite good, but still Lion takes some finesse. Some try hard tries to play Lion like it's easy. You pick Ogre and just bash his face in. I have had many a teammate demoralized by said Ogre in that exact situation.
There's been a lot of Lion mids. I had one in one of the games I was playing. Didn't go too well for him, but I've seen some successful ones as well.
It's worked. I've definitely seen Lion do okay. He can get rolling. The stealing, or I guess the accumulating damage on the finger is pretty goddamn sick. Dazzle is obviously a god. I don't know if you've gotten the chance to play him.
Dazzle's the biggest winner of the patch, without question.
But seriously, like, position 4 Dazzle is just nuts right now. You do so much damage. You can actually scale, and you do a shitload of sustain. I've been playing around with this core Dazzle. You know, I tweeted out my support Dazzle build, and people really liked it. Trent, that thing's got like 50 retweets.
I saw you. I saw your tweet. Yeah, you're getting up there.
So I decided, a lot of people replied and said, dude, you got to try some of this core Dazzle stuff. And I think it's actually viable. I think one of the issues, though, is his power is basically locked in your ability to 5-man in the mid game. I think with a team, he is an incredible mid. In pubs, it's pretty 50-50, because if your team refuses to group up with you, you can't really do that much at like 30 minutes.
I think there's one reason why it kind of works a little better in pubs, though, is because everyone plays so greedy that chances are your 4 in pubs will actually play greedy enough to still make it work. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Even if you start falling off, like, it's still definitely fine. I know that you don't build Necros, but I think if you're not building Necros, it's like not even worth playing the hero, to be honest.
The Necros is really good. Honestly, it depends
it's like a little too broken.
It depends on how good you are with Necros. That's the thing. Any hero that's set up like Lycan back in the day, right? If you suck with Necro books, you're still going to suck with Lycan, which I think is the only issue with that. For I'm talking to the people with these builds, Trent. You know, this isn't like a 5K. We're pushing Immortal. This is like hey man, I'm Ancient One and I want to play some core Dazzle. This is what we're talking about. This is the value in terms of effort to return, I think. But you play him like Arc Warden, dude. It's fucking insane. If you get the Midas, if you end up getting Octarine Core and BOTs at level 18, you have 16-second cooldown Boots of Travel. It feels like you're playing Ember Spirit. And you think Dazzle's not that good at split push, and then you remember you just nuke the waves, you heal your creeps, you one-shot the other wave, you split push pretty fucking well, and you just vacuum farm the map, man.
The bots is really weird. Like, I had a Terrorblade, right? And the game that we won, we got off to a pretty nice start, and my Terrorblade just had a really free lane, because we had like a Lich in one lane and some other broken support in the other lane. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, he buys bots relatively early on, which isn't really a traditional Terrorblade item, but he controlled the whole damn map with just bots, because he bots to one lane, pushes out with all his illusion, farms the whole jungle, and then he TP scrolls to the bottom. I'm just like, this is actually broken. Like, bots are insanely strong right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people asked if it's necessary. The other thing about Octarine Core, it sounds really greedy and ridiculous on Dazzle, but if you get an early Midas, you can even go Midas, Necro, Octarine, but I swear to God, it gets your cooldowns to a point where you're just unstoppable. Your Grave is 5.6 seconds. It lasts for 5 seconds. If you get an Aghanims, you can actually... It's like a situation where Aghanims is pretty good because you can just spam Grave. It's almost impossible for your team to die. Your heal is on a 2-second cooldown, dude. Your sustain is absolutely absurd. Plus, you're healing yourself because now you have Spell Vamp. And you're doing a shitload of damage from poison, and your heals do damage. It's fucking compounding like crazy.
Was that your biggest, like... What part of the patch were you just like, where did you first read it, first off? What happened for you?
Okay, so I was flying with Slacks and Grant back from KL. We had one stop in Tokyo. The patch was not out when we landed there. We got some ramen. We took off. We land in Denver. turn on phones. First thing we see is the patch is out. And as we're walking off the plane, we're all kind of starting to read. Well, Slacks and I are starting to read it and scroll through it. And Grant is just meticulously asking questions, though refusing to pull out his phone and actually read for himself.
Classic. All right. Good.
So as we got to go through customs and stuff and wait for bags, we're just sort of skimming through it and doing that classic thing of, oh, my God, did you see the one about Bristleback? Oh, my God, Dazzle. You know, and we're half misreading a lot of them and just kind of dreaming about what's going to be and how much fun it's going to be to play on it.
Yeah.
So I read about half of it, taxi home, and then when I got home, I sat down, read it, and I ended up eating some food, and then I played a few pubs before I even went to sleep after landing.
I think for me, I landed in Boston, and I took out my phone and saw the patch had dropped like 30 minutes before or something, so I started like scrolling through and everything. I remember the big ones. I was trying to look at my phone because I remember messaging Slacks about the things that were really blowing my mind. I think the bounty hunter stealing gold, because I really like bounty hunter. I'm not a big fan of the changes, to be honest, because I think it puts him more into a core role, whereas I prefer playing support, so I don't really feel like I'm going to be playing that much bounty hunter anymore.
Yeah.
But kind of interesting. The hardest, I knew there was something I missed. Like the hardest I laughed at the entire patch was when I just scrolled to Disruptor. And it just says Thunderstrike damage increased from 40, 60, 80, 100 to 45, 70, 95, 120. And all I could think was Ice Frog sitting there just like, this hero is good. Pick this damn hero. I'm not changing anything else.
Yep.
That poor Disruptor gets almost 0 love, and that's all he gets. There's a little damage up on the old Thunderstrike.
Yeah.
Track wall invis is definitely good, as people are pointing out. I thought Lifestealer was going to be super broken with some of the changes to like HP regen and everything for the BKB got removed. Like BKB piercing was removed from. Hold on, I'm going to count actually. Where's the note? It was some stupid amount of skills. All right, so Curse of Avernus, Acid Spray, Blood Rage, Thirst, Elder Dragon Form, Lycan Wolf Cripple, Epicenter, Entangling Claws, Spiderling's Poison. Wow, Entangling Claws. So Lone Druid doesn't pierce anymore. I didn't even realize that. Spiderling's Poison Sting, Anchor Smash, Nature's Guise, Wave of Terror, Venomancer's Poison Sting, The Swarm. That's a big one for Weaver. Maledict Debuff, Ghost Frost Attack, Wrath of Nature, Netherward Mana Drain, Life Drain Targeting, Primal Roar, Secondary Knockback, Requiem of Souls, March of the Machines, Atrophy Aura, Tombstone Flesh Golem, Wall of Replica Slow, Naga Siren Ensnare, Dark Troll Summoner Ensnare, Wild Axe's Natural Order, Death Pulse Projectile, Assassinate, Shiva's Guard Aura, Assault Caress Aura, Tempest Tornado Aura, and Orb of Venom. All no longer pierce. That kind of blew my mind.
Yep,
I think Lifestealer looks kind of crazy.
That's a pretty big buff to arguably the most broken item in Dota already. BKB is now just pretty much a god mode. That's pretty nice.
And then Lifestealer gets switched to max HP now instead of current health for Feast. So that's really good.
Whoa.
So like now he is like a big counter pick to really tanky people.
Yeah. Wow, that's really, really good. That makes me want to play a little Lifestealer. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think he's pretty legit. I mean, but BSJ hasn't been playing him, so that kind of kills my faith right there.
But Bounty Hunter has felt pretty weak to me. I haven't played him, but he's been in a lot of my games.
He's in like every game.
It's brutal. The position 3 Bounty Hunter just doesn't really feel like it does anything. But maybe partially a problem with lane combos, but I want to see some Brewmaster Ogre, like dual off lanes, because now he's got synergy with fire spells.
Dude, Brew is probably the most broken for the pro scene. I've been watching a lot of the DPL is on right now in China, so I've been watching a lot of those replays. And Brewmaster is like first pick, first ban every single game.
Yeah.
For good reason. The games that he does get through, he just seems to dominate.
Yeah, he feels good. Still difficult to play, but quite solid. Bloodstone, that change jumped out at me. I thought it was pretty cool. I've bought it in one game, and it felt very underwhelming. I'm having trouble really wrapping my brain around that item. But the Holy Locket is one of the coolest things, I think, they've come out with in a while. It is basically tailor-made for a hero like Dazzle, also incredible on Necro. It's also really good on... Who's that other guy that heals Trent? There's someone else that is...
Omni Knight?
Yeah, I guess so. I haven't seen many Omnis buy it. Solar Crest is also really sick now. But I just like what they did in items in general. I like that they removed Ring of Aquila. It definitely felt like a poor man's shield, Iron Talon type scenario to me. Just a consistently broken item that you see literally every single game. Multiple heroes. It's just... I'm over it. I think this is a nice way to switch things up a little bit. You make null tallies, the bracers, all that a little bit better. I think that was a nice tweak, and now you've got this crown, which is a cool value piece that you can play around with. You can actually go like a 4 null talisman build on Skywrath Mage and fucking destroy people. Like there are a couple cool early game options now that just didn't exist before.
I think overall, I guess a Grimstroke added, kind of scary.
Ugh.
He got a slight buff in a way, in that they nerfed the duration of Soulbind, but now it has that leashed thing that Pounce has. The Phantom's Embrace got a little nerf, which is really good. It like has to get closer to you before it latches on. It always felt like that thing. Like the second I saw it, you were like no hope to start countering it. And then a slight nerf to Inkswell, but overall, this hero looks pretty scary. He's been first phase banned in every single game I've seen for pro matches, at least.
Not surprised.
I see that he's currently in the Vega versus Spirit match, actually.
Oh, there you go. What do you think about the changes to boots? This was really, to me, one of the fundamental untouched things about Dota that I remember from the classic Warcraft 3 days, and now my phase boots are totally different. Got kind of a buff, kind of a nerf. Now you're tankier, right? You get armor and movement speed, which is kind of nice on some of those low armor heroes. And a lot of the times it feels like those are strength heroes that also benefit from extra attack speed. So I definitely see the benefit of phase boots now, but still having trouble wrapping my brain around this one. I haven't really played a lot of phase boot carrying heroes, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, it's a little awkward. I don't like it because of the power dreads change. Like, I really like power dreads for a lot of the like offlaner style heroes, and now that it gives like plus damage, that's generally like not quite as good as attack speed. But the attribute bonus went up, so at least there's that.
Yeah.
The boots are a little weird. I mean, Tranquil Boots just got straight buffed, so support life is good. No longer gets disabled while last hitting. You don't have to like. I hate mechanics that are obtuse to perform, but objectively should be done every single time. So like if I'm in lane as Crystal Maiden and I see an opportunity to go for a deny or a last hit, I used to have to drop my boots in the perfect scenario, throw out my spell, wait for it, and then pick up my boots. And that's really dumb. Yeah. So I definitely appreciate that was changed.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's a quality of life change for supports. It's very appealing to play support right now, I think. I've definitely had some games where it feels like a good 4 and 5 combo, like a AA Rasta or something like that are relatively coordinated. Now they have so many ways to itemize where they have some kill power. If you get any kind of momentum in the earlier mid game, you can actually buy items and have a presence. And I don't know, I got destroyed by a Lion Rubik support duo that just got early blink daggers and were fucking destroying our backline every single fight. I love that now Kaya is like the third element to Sanj and Yasha, so you have all these new combos with Kaya, Sanj, Yasha, Kaya. I don't know how useful it is. It's like kind of hard, again, to wrap my brain around, like who's ever going to buy a Yasha Kaya? Who wants agility and int? It's a little weird.
There's some good heroes,
but
like SF and shit, right?
Exactly. I think it's a really cool value piece. Is it disassemblable? I guess they don't build into anything else for the most part. You could get like a halberd.
I assume they are, but I don't know. Can someone confirm? I would assume they should be, right? Just like S and Y is.
Yeah.
I don't think there was there was no buff saying that they're not, so they should be still disassemblable.
So, it's kind of cool. Again, it feels to me like a quality of life change. There's no reason not. It makes your inventory a little bit more efficient.
I think there's just a lot of heroes that it's nice for. Like all those kind of like mana related carries. Like everyone's kind of throwing out some heroes, Anyone who can use the spell amp is pretty sick, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like Gyro, like Luna potentially. I guess she kind of wants S and Y, but
the real question is, how is there not one that combines all three?
Now,
like, how did we manage that?
Ice Frog has become like a car manufacturer, okay? He visualizes the changes, but they get rolled out slowly. You can't blow your load too quick, man. You gotta put some time element to it. You gotta see how this works out, and then you maybe... What would you call it, though? The Sky?
I would prefer KYS.
KYS.
It would spell out kill yourself.
The KYS. That could be a sick item.
That's pretty great.
I don't know what the icon would look like either, but I'm pretty into it.
You'd have to make it all just one word, I feel like.
Yeah. I do also like this Ring of Tarask item. I don't know if you've gotten the opportunity to purchase that at all, but it's really cool.
No,
it's nice on Dazzle, kind of nice on heroes like Necro, like any kind of half frontliner, relatively squishy type. It feels like just a really good value piece if you have any way to benefit from that regen. I like it a lot.
Seems okay. I don't know. Holy Locket seems really expensive to me. By first impressions. It feels like a offlaner item more than a supporter item.
Maybe it's just all about having a lot of heal or HP regen. You know, if you're like an Undying and you have that sick talent, or you're
Undying would be pretty sweet. It's funny because we were talking the other day, like heroes that you would rather just have a blink dagger on, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's my problem because this is 2650. So I play so many supports where I'd rather just have a blink dagger. But you look at Undying, and yeah, you get that extra 400 gold. Yeah. This is gonna be a lot better than a blink dagger.
This is a very niche item. That was the third hero I couldn't remember earlier. I think Dazzle, Undying, Necro. Those are the big three where this item is fucking god tier, and that 2600 is actually worth it because it has a sick build-up. Ring of Tarask is such a great item to just right-click. Like Cloak, great value item. Voidstone, I hear you, it's a little expensive.
It's a cheap recipe, too.
That's everything I want if I'm Undying right there. Nice regen. Like, even on Dazzle, that magic resistance is beautiful. You're getting zapped down by a Zeus. Yummy.
I think Undying is currently the most successful hero right now. Someone posted a collection basically of all like the high tier pubs where I forget what that website's called. It's like Dota Pro Tracker or something where basically it'll take all the top tier players and add up their games. It looks like this one's probably including Divine and Immortal, but currently considering like 406 picks right now in pubs, 221 wins, 54%. Undying's basically looking like the highest victor at the moment, along with Luna and Grimstroke. So Brewmaster too.
Yep.
Dude, have you ever seen a hero get as destroyed as Meepo got destroyed, by the way? Someone else was just saying.
I don't think so. There was a great bug where if you go Lion Aghanims against a Meepo and you kill him, you get plus 50 for every Meepo that dies. Classic Valve bug.
Does that not still work?
I'm not sure if they've patched it. I haven't seen it since, but I know right when the patch dropped, I saw that in a few games. It's pretty bananas stuff. If there was ever a hard counter, I mean, sure, your line's supposed to get to an Aghanims, but it's not that hard. Trust me. If you're getting plus 50 for every Meepo that's dying, you might not even need the Aghanims, actually. I can't remember. I forget it, but I know 100% with the Aghs. It's not so. Also, Abaddon. That was another big one. I've seen him in a lot of games. I feel like almost every game, actually. Now, his passive is way cooler. Actually gives him some lockdown against carries like Anti-mage, for example. That kind of stuff is pretty cool.
Anti-mage was like the third hero, right? You get excited. You get through all the items. That's like the appetizer when you're reading a new patch note, right? And then you're just waiting for that hero one. And you're like, oh, I can't wait to see all my heroes.
Yeah.
And you start scrolling through the third hero, Anti-mage. I nearly vomited in the Boston airport. As if many things in that airport don't already make you want to vomit. What the fuck? Like, what is this? I'm looking at this, and I'm like, my mind is being blown in the airport. I'm just like, okay, so he has a 1.6 second downtime on a spell that literally says causes all spells that target you to be blocked and reflected onto the enemy. I had to reread it like 8 times to be like, am I missing something here? Because this seems busted.
It seems like it, but every game I've seen Anti-mage, he has felt so undertuned, it's ridiculous. Like, he takes so long to come online. Pretty much every other carry, even if you buy a Battle Fury. I've seen a lot of jugs. He gets Battle Fury. He can actually kill shit. You Omni Slash something. You do a fuckload of damage. It's cleave and it actually hurts. Monkey King, yeah, you have this window where you're pretty squishy, but you actually do a lot of damage if you can initiate once you have the Battle Fury.
Broken heroes.
Anti-mage absolutely needs Battle Fury Manta before he can even think about starting fights. And then once he has the Basher, okay, he can pop some people and kill them. But like, he is so punishable now. I think the change to root mechanics is what balances this out because that absolutely fucks Anti-mage. And now so many heroes have this like god tier leash state thing. I don't know. I don't quite understand the exact leash mechanic in root, but it feels like I can't TP at all anymore.
To me, it looks like he just became like super strong in pro games though for like a 10th pick kind of a deal. Like if you see a game where all of their control is targeted, it's going to feel real good for an AM. Like, you're going to see NIP playing it a lot, I would say, for Ace. Like, they already like to pick it for him in certain games where the Aghanims was good. Like, he was a player that very much looked towards that Aghanims. And now that he basically has that freely, I feel like Nip are going to win a lot of games to qualify with AM.
I could see it. I mean, he's still classic AM, right? And I think this change with his ability having the counter spell now, it raises the skill cap. You know, it gives you, even the way you frame it, 1.6 second downtime, that sounds like not very much, but on the pro level, that's still abusable, you know? So it gives you this kind of cool high skill cap situation to make big plays.
Comes down to vision.
I think he's going to be fun to watch. You know, I'm not that upset about Anti-mage in the pro scene now. Definitely lets you make some big dick plays if you want to go for it. What do you think about KotL? You digging on the KotL changes? He was another huge one that I was just, I don't know. I saw the name of that ultimate and I actually laughed maniacally. What is it? Will-O-Wisp or something?
Will-O-Wisp. Yes.
Will-O-Wisp.
I don't know. It seems super strong from the games I've seen it in.
Yes. It's like, targetable, which is so weird to me. You know, it just seems like
what do you mean? Like that you can kill it?
Yeah.
It's just another thing to try and attack.
Yeah, well, there just aren't a lot of ultimates like that, and there aren't many that are targetable and also disable you. You know, think about all of the things that you can kill. It's like Tombstone, Nether Ward, Phoenix Egg. Like even Phoenix Egg, it just does slow burn damage to you. It doesn't stop you from killing it. Phoenix has to hit you with a skill shot for that. This thing, you get close to it to try to hit it, and it just puts you to sleep if you fucking look at it. It's very odd.
It's a very polarizing skill. I've seen a lot of threads, even comments right now, are just saying like it sucks, needs damage, it's bad. But I've watched games where it looks so broken.
Yes,
like
it's a game changer.
Because if you just have any sort of stuns that are, because it puts you in this really awkward moment where you can't attack it and you're like trying to focus it and then you're being slapped and then some earth spirit just like rolls into one of you and suddenly like it's so chaotic.
It is.
It's a weird change though.
It's like a mini black hole and it's a sick setup. Like you said, if you can combo it with any kind of coordination, I think it definitely has potential on the pro level. In my pubs, I've seen it be pretty 50-50, but you know, it feels like black hole in certain situations. You know, it's like a better Winter Wyvern ult in certain situations because it has a wide spread. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say though, when you look at Keeper of the Light and you look at the ability rework, did you see when they removed Mana Leak and Spirit Form and the question mark recall has been moved to Chen? That made me laugh.
I didn't
we just
see that.
Straight up ripped his skill.
Yeah.
I think Chen looks insanely strong to me too. I feel like he's probably going to be top tier and competitive because you think about a Chen game, right? And this, like now his penitence, it has a slower projectile speed and it no longer amps damage, but it causes all allied units attacking the target unit to gain 30, 60, 90, and 120 attack speed. So you're like, to me, he looks like a crazy good snowball hero. Where you think about how now that he has recall, he can basically like start the snowball super early for the team.
Right.
Like you get any sort of an edge. Like think about when you take over a catapult or some shit and you're just pushing towers and you just get to bring your heroes to free to the lane, you know?
It's true.
It seems really strong to me.
I agree. I'm not in the bracket where I see much Chen play, but I think from a Theorycraft perspective, it gives this hero a lot of viability. Chen is such an odd... to me, he's in that category of... There's maybe like 5 to 10 heroes that really fit that bill, like the kind of Spectres, where I think they're just objectively hard to balance because the way that like Spectre has a spell that's like, yeah, I just take 25% less damage and reflect it back at you. You know, that's just an inherently kind of broken mechanic that is very easy to overtune or undertune. You know, the nature of the ultimate. You know, Bat Rider, Wisp, these heroes that are just fundamentally broken. Pretty much no matter what you do to them without drastically changing their spells, they have the potential to just turn a game around immediately. Chen is absolutely one of those heroes. You know, you've seen metas where he's first pick, first ban, just complete shutdown in the early game, and metas where Chen is just borderline useless because he can't take over.
I do need to test out the levels, though. I haven't looked at the actual creep levels for that ability. That could be a big deal, right? Where it's like, now it's like Holy Persuasion now is a neutral creep level requirement at 4, 5, 6, 6. So I definitely need to look at that before completely deeming him broken. But to me, he looks super strong at the moment.
Definitely better than he was. I don't know if Chen was really in a great spot. The other thing about KotL, I think, that makes up for this wisp being, or this ultimate being so polarizing is having blinding light all the time is fucking sick, dude. That is a spell that allows you to set up a lot of plays. It changes a lane. You know, like it's incredible to think about having that at like level 3 compared to before where there was absolutely no way you have it before level 6. There's a pretty long window where KotL does not have his ultimate. And yeah, you don't have mana leak, but you can set up in a whole different way now. Not many heroes can deal with blind that early on.
There'll probably be some pretty cool lane combos too, just like with the positioning and everything.
He's still got good old Chakra.
Worst hero that you've seen being played? To me, it definitely looks like klxl.
I actually have not seen a klxl yet. I still haven't gotten him in a single game, my team or otherwise.
What do you have your Dota client open, or can you open it?
Not easily on this rig. No.
Okay, because once you can, just go ahead and try demoing out the klxl ultimate, and I think you'll see.
I know it like poops out skeletons, but it just seems silly. Huh?
It is so slow. It is really weird. Like, it kind of caught me off guard the first time I was testing it. It's not how I imagined it at all. I was like, oh, that sounds cool. But it's like when you summon, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 skeletons. It's really weird. Like, and they only have your attack range, so if you don't have Dragonlance, they're really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems awful. I'm very surprised by this skill.
Okay, I think klxl is a fair contender. There's one other hero we didn't mention. This was a subtle change, but I think could really impact certain strategies. Luna's aura is now main attribute instead of damage.
Oh, yeah, she's straight busted.
So if you're like doing, I did a Luna Undying lane, dude, it's awesome. You're just getting straight strength.
Yeah.
You know?
Any strength support looks so busted.
And it works with anything, though. You know, like even just having a CM pop in. All of a sudden, she's got all this extra int. That mana pool's a little bit bigger, opens up some more breakpoints for her. That it is beyond sick for 5-man.
I think it's way too strong. I don't know. I think it's going to get switched back, honestly. I don't see how you can give it a decent enough attribute bonus that it's not broken in the laning phase, but still useful later on.
Fuck, I want to play some Luna today, dude. I got to play some Luna. She sounds so much fun.
It's so broken. I was watching some of the pro matches, and people were just going 1-point Lucent Beam and maxing out the glaives and the Blessing.
Dude, that is exactly what the Luna did in my game when I picked the Undying, and I don't think we actually won the game, but we slaughtered the first, 25 minutes. He really got farmed quick. They couldn't do anything. I'm just stealing strength from an ogre, knocking him down. I've got 1,500 HP at level 5 minutes. What do you do? It's actually broken. I felt like I was cheating. Other worst heroes. Oh, God. Who else has been? I actually almost would have said Bounty Hunter. I think he has looked abysmal in the games that I've seen, though he's probably not the worst. I have not seen him yet in a game, but I think Huskar is pretty bad right now. I think those changes to him to get rid of his magic resistance just make him borderline unplayable. Like, I really am having trouble visualizing a scenario where Huskar feels like the pick.
I saw Thompson spamming him a lot in pubs.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I haven't really seen it that much. The Inner Fire is kind of interesting. You know, like Disarm is nice, but...
Have you seen it used? Like, have you seen how the hero works in games? Because he feels kind of strong now. It's really weird.
Huskar?
Yeah.
Well, he definitely does a lot of damage. I just think he's so glass cannon that you can pick around him pretty easily. Like, there's a whole window where he doesn't have a BKB, and you just stun him twice, and he fucking falls over. Like, how does he live now?
He's so hard to, control, though, because he's these really weird, Hurricane Pike moves, and it's, bouncing people around. I don't know. It's definitely worth looking into. I think. Maybe
he's not as... Like I said, I feel like I need to see it. I am really not a Huskar player, or I've never been. Yeah. So, it's not a hero I would ever really pick. So I admit I haven't seen its full potential, but still,
it's no surprise to see who the most picked heroes are though. Here's a list of the most picked in high MR pubs right now: Dazzle, Slark, Rubik, Lich, Monkey King, Bounty Hunter, Grimstroke, Ogre, Void, Brewmaster, Luna, Axe, Undying, Lion, PA, Doom. I think we've touched on all of those. The Doom one. I saw Xnova tweet out, he said, level 10 Doom, 60 HP regen, thinking. And then I was like, huh. So I went and watched the DPL match that LGD had been playing in. And literally in their game, this Doom hits level 10. Because now you can devour 2 creeps, and each one gives you 20 HP regen, and he had a Vanguard. and he literally had 60 HP regen. It was something else to see this Doom just walking down mid and actually taking over the entire game. I felt pretty bad for them.
That makes me want to play a little Doom. And that base attack range from 150 to 175, that's a pretty nice buff. Doom already had some pretty big reach with that fiery sword. He's like Monkey King now. He's not exactly a melee hero. That's not nothing. That's one of those little changes that's easy to skip over. Okay, it's probably annoying to just randomly go one by one like this, but
I know, but I can't help it.
I also don't really give a shit because it's the beginning of the patch. It is what it is. Drow Ranger reverted back to Dota 1 marksmanship. When I saw this, I read this out loud and Grant went, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? He's just going back to Dota 1? Fuck!" He's just like yelling while we're waiting for our bags. I have such mixed feelings about this. For the Dota OGs, this will feel familiar. Now marksmanship gives you that chance to instant kill creeps, and if it hits heroes, it gives you like a piercing attack that can't be evaded, and it also goes through armor. So it's not bad, but you aren't getting that same massive agility, just like I'm a straight aura giving my whole team an extra 100 damage. It's a slightly different approach to the Drow Ranger, though not necessarily a nerf.
It's like...
It's not a buff, though. Definitely not a buff.
No. It's kind of like what heroes actually benefit from the attack speed more than the damage. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of awkward. It's a very strange change. I tried testing it out just to see like how fast you farm essentially now with it though, and even with just like Masquematus Dragonlance, you do farm really fast as Drow Ranger. Like you think about ancient creeps, like it's pretty crazy.
That's true. It works on ancients. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
It one-shots ancients potentially. One out of five. Yeah, one out of five auto attacks just instantly kills the creep.
Yeah, so like when you're farming, I was testing it out, right? So basically the logic is you click each creep. It's like micro intensive, but at least that's what I was trying to do the math, and I was like, is that really the right way to do it? Or you just keep hitting one creep, or does it not matter?
It's probably slightly more efficient to auto attack creeps because you want to roll the dice on killing creeps instantly when they're at the highest amount of HP to minimize your overall auto attacks.
That's what I was thinking too.
That's definitely correct.
But then I don't know if that math actually checks out.
It relies on execution.
Sense, right?
It relies on execution. Yeah. Can you not sacrifice any of your attack speed by doing that constantly? Because if you're slow, if you're significantly slower than just letting your hero auto attack, then you're not really. I mean, it's pretty minor. Let's be real. Yeah. Your positioning and not dying matters way more than min-maxing that fucking 5% on creeps. But I hear you coming from the right place. Because now the talent's changed, she gets that 25% evasion talent at level 20. I think that's also a pretty nice buff.
That's true. Yeah, it's not that bad. And then the precision or attack speed isn't until level 25, which is kind of like, I don't know. I feel like if that's the whole point of the hero, keeping it till 25 seems a little weak when she's supposed to peak earlier. At least that's how she used to seem to work.
This makes her a little bit more of a fighter compared to where she was. This actually makes you want to group up and put some damage into heroes. You want to get that. Maybe you go Mask of Madness, Hurricane Pike, BKB. When you pick up that BKB, you start trying to take some objectives. You actually push a little bit. I don't know. I would like to play a few Drow games. I want to play some fucking carry. I've been playing Dazzle too much. I'm in the mood to queue some one today, bud.
Get him. I'll support you. We'll have a time.
Dude, I'm into it. But
actually, I was watching some of your carry last night. I don't think I want to support you. I don't know. Some of those Dazzle games were a little questionable, my dude.
Oh, dude, you're. That was a rough session, man. It really Dota has not changed, man. The amount of games where my team is like, we're less than 10 minutes in, and they've completely tilted each other to the point of giving up is just unfathomable. It's like I get it, we're behind, guys, but running in one at a time is not going to be the secret formula to a victory here. I had one game where at 8 minutes, my team goes, it's over. We can't kill anything. We had one hero with an ultimate. I'm like, Lion, let's just wait till you get level 6 before we determine whether or not we can kill shit. Finger of Death is a big one, dog. Like those kind of games of it tilts me. There were times where I died in lane because I'm fucking explaining to my team, not even yelling at them like raging, just trying to explain like, no, seriously, please, let's just wait until we have these spells, then we can, this is the plan. Just be patient, we'll execute the plan. Fuck, now I died trying to explain to you the plan. It's just it all fell apart quick, Trent. I went 2-6 yesterday. I'm also not a mid player.
2-6.
I'm not a mid player, Trent. I was practicing.
That's fair. You're learning.
Yeah. That's how you do it,
Yep.
I cannot, the Dazzle mid, I cannot beat Sniper, and I can't really beat Invoker that well either. Those are my two really hard matchups. Storm, I can poop on. Tinker, I can poop on.
Oh, yeah, I saw you get destroyed by that Invoker.
Dude.
I literally opened up your game, and he's meatballing you, and I look, and he's got his 4th kill, and you're like 0-3.
It's just like the Cold Snap is too good at preventing shallow grave timings. His regen is too much, so I can't just beat him with poison. He gets the little Forge Spirit, so he can still last hit even if I'm fucking beating him up. It's just, it's a hard matchup. Yeah. You got to actually be good at mid to handle that one, and I'm objectively not, pal.
Oh, I haven't tried the Magnus thing yet.
Yeah. I will say, though, like, so yesterday, right, I was playing to try to research this core Dazzle so I could get a few decent games with the Midas first build. And even though I didn't win, that many games, it was still oddly satisfying to play because I felt like I was doing research. Like I tried one build. I'm like, all right, let's try this with the Nether Lens mixed in. Like it's fun to queue the same hero in the same position and just try variations of the same build, like Midas first with another adaptation. It's pretty cool. I haven't done that so much in the past, especially not.
Never done your experimenting?
Well, I usually just get bored where, I'll switch it up, and after 2 games of Dazzle, I'll play Undying and then play Spirit Breaker. I don't usually just queue mid. It's like when you see Arteezy do when he streams. Like I remember like last time I was watching, he was just queuing Invoker, going Quaswex, and just going like Maelstrom Blink into whatever every game, and just slight variations. Over like 10 games or whatever. It's kind of cool. It's a different way of approaching the game where you feel like you really start to appreciate those little differences,
What the hell is this shockwave pull, guys? What is this? Have you seen this thing?
Magnus?
The new Magnus ability? Where,
I think I have, but
when you shockwave someone, it like pulls them like 150 units or something incredibly minuscule. Huh. It's really random.
Pull duration 0.2.
It's just like a really odd thing. It just feels so out of place.
Yeah, I don't have a good explanation for that one, dog.
Huh. I mean, it's a buff. It's better. Yeah. I mean, cool. It's definitely better than not having it. It just looks really funny. That'd be insane if you pulled someone over a cliff with it, because it's like the tiniest pull. They'd have to be literally standing on the furthest edge they could.
Yeah. But so let's go broad stroke though. Overall impressions. Do you are you happy with the patch? Any complaints?
Oh, hold on. We'll see if it cancels channeling. It definitely doesn't. No, it doesn't cancel channeling. Any complaints? I was a little surprised with some of the map changes. I wouldn't say complaints, but I still feel like the whole bottom right corner of the map problem is not addressed. It still just feels like, why would I ever want to go down there past 20 minutes? And maybe that's fine. Maybe there's, like, what's the point of having a map that you play? Like, maybe that's going to entice less action and stuff, and it's not as fun to play because people are dodging each other more and shit like that. So maybe I'm thinking about it the wrong way.
I mean, that is exactly what I would have challenged you with, was like, what's wrong with having a little pocket of the map that is relatively advantageous for one team to kind of invade, that's hard to defend? It's in a corner of the map, it's kind of a pole. If you were to draw a heat map, it's fine to have little pockets that I don't really care about.
I think the problem, though, is that it's just dumb, because if you're the Radiant team, or like, let's say you're the Dire team, then the Radiant team, like, it always ends up playing on the opposite side of the map, right? So, like, it's innately shittier to be Dire still, because if you're controlling the better place to farm for your enemy, which is what always happens in a Dota game, then you're far away from Roche and they're close to Roche.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just innately shit. That's the only problem. I will say it's definitely safer to farm in the Radiant jungle now, because like the altitude adjustments with the ramps and shit, so you should be able to better protect yourselves. But you're also, most of the camps are far enough away from the ramps that the smoke won't pop when you're in an advantageous spot anyway. So
it's hard to digest the map changes the most. Like, I feel like I need to play a good 50 games before I really get that new map registered in like my mental muscle memory. But so far, it's felt like invading that juicy part of the Dire jungle above Roche is a little bit harder now, the way they've set the elevation. You're kind of running into blindness a bit more than you were. That where that bounty rune is now feels like an absolute trap, because you're stuck on the low ground, and there's a lot of spots where people can jump in on you.
It's really random, isn't it? It's like, why is this bounty in the river?
Well, I think it's to make that dire side harder to invade because that, like you said, that was the big advantage of having Radiant before is you control this big area of the map very easily that also has Roche in it, which is obviously a great objective. Now it's harder to do that as Radiant, and it's easier to get baited into these shittier situations. At least that's what it's felt like.
Such a stupid bait, though. It's just
well,
like,
yeah.
Don't you think? It just seems so odd.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. It's a weird one.
It's just like, aha, I'll just sit here and hope that they get greedy and come for this bounty rune. Like, I can't wait to see how many pro games that happens in, where this rune's just sitting there and there's 3 heroes on the top of that ramp just
And
waiting.
on the Radiant side, the bounty is 1 level elevated from the river, and then there's another level of elevation where
true. It's like a double bait almost.
What's it called? The goddamn... I'm going to call it the spring well. What the fuck is that thing called? The shrine.
The shrine.
That's it. So it's different. It's like slightly harder for Dire to invade, but there's less spots where Radiant can just like pop you and set the bait. So we'll have to see how it plays out. I need to watch more pro games. That's one thing I haven't done that much of. I've pretty much just played. I haven't watched nearly as much. So
I like this question though. What was your initial reaction to the brew fire damage thing?
Brew Ogre sounds like a broken dual offlane. That was actually my first thought.
Do you think this like whole synergy thing though is like a slippery slope, as they say?
Potentially. I think having it a little bit is kind of nice. I do like the idea of making Dota a little bit easier to understand from, not that everything has to follow lore. You don't want Morphling to counter fire damage because he's made out of water or something necessarily, but when in doubt, all things equal, I'd rather the game skew that way than the opposite, because it's felt like for a long time Dota had a lot of really random mechanics, and I'd say the last 2 or 3 years especially, it seems like IceFrog has really prioritized making the game easier to understand, homogenizing all these mechanics so there's less exceptions, more things, like all those BKB changes. Those are a lot of exceptions now that you just say, BKB stops spells. Period, except for maybe 1 or 2 very specific things, or just Abyssal Blade or whatever it is. I think that's a good thing overall. Is it a slippery slope? Can it go too far? Abso-fucking-lutely. We don't want slacks writing the mechanics based on lore here, but yeah, I like it. I can't complain.
I think I'm a little out on it. I'm not a big fan. I don't see a lot of benefits from it personally. It just kind of seems like I don't know how to put it, because it's like, there's already synergy with Drow. Drow is probably the biggest synergy hero in Dota. And this idea of like, oh, you want an all-ranged lineup. And now you got Brewmaster's like, well, now you want like at least some fire damage. I don't know. I think it's okay as long as it doesn't go too crazy. I'm fine with it being like a couple heroes and being really niche, but I really hope it doesn't become a standard thing.
I think of it the same way as Ogre, right? We don't want too many RNG mechanics, but as long as the mechanics
are fun.
Yeah, I don't want to get rid of Ogre's multicast. Now that it's even better, we'll see if it's too broken or needs to be dialed down, but I think it's cool that it's on a couple heroes and you have that degree of fucking, it's a 4x hex! Like that's, I'm hyped for that to happen on a stage, and I can go ham when whole team gets turned into piggies.
Yeah, that actually is pretty crazy, not gonna lie.
I mean, the first time it happened in one of my pub games, we were pushing high ground, and it just... I immediately tipped him and went, dude, I am sorry for flaming you for buying Midas first Ogre. Jesus Christ. You just won us that team fight that won us the game. Props.
Yeah.
I guess we'd be remiss if we didn't quickly mention the deny changes. I think no one was surprised to see denies no longer giving XP, and now denies give gold, kind of adding additional skill cap to carry roles. Mid lane especially, denies still matter a lot, but you don't see these stupid, insane snowballs. Just, I've got 15 denies, you have 2, and the lane is crippled. Little different now. So I like it. Much needed. Cool experiment, but I'm not going to miss that one.
Yeah, I'm out on the denies. Life's a lot better now.
Mm-hmm.
There's something else that I was going to say. Oh, the map changes for wards. I think the sentry buff was definitely a good choice, because the wards are like, because of the way that now there's so many more plateaus, then that means that there's like these now new spots for like farther reaching vision. So I think it was a really smart decision to add the range increase to the sentries, or else the warding battle would have been pretty damn difficult.
Yeah.
But it still feels like GPM talents. Like, I'm going to have a really hard time playing supports without GPM talents still. I think it's really hard to justify them. because sentries are just insanely strong, and you need to buy lots of sentries.
I definitely feel like I've been buying a lot of sentries. I'm with you.
That would be the one problem I would see. But
I think it's also a little hard to evaluate that stuff on a new patch because it always feels like new patches equals more fighting. When people don't know what to do, especially like, let's say, sub 5K MMR, in lieu of not knowing exactly what to do, you're buying these new items. It's like, well, I know one way to win. Let's fucking kill him. And I've had a couple games that are, it's like 25 to 32 at, 20 minutes, and it's just a slaughter fest. So it completely changes what you would expect out of a normal supports farm because you have all these assists, all these kills you wouldn't otherwise expect to have.
Most of the pro matches have been like that too, honestly.
Okay.
They've been very stomp heavy, very quick rushes.
Yeah. So it's a fun time to play. If you were getting it all tired of Dota, it definitely feels like a fresh start. I think this is a breath of fresh air after having all of these little micro patches for so long, just tweaking what we had really defined as a pretty carved out meta. Dota is interesting again. Same old game with a new face on it.
Oh, and what is this Monkey King change, by the way? I knew there was something I wanted to rant about. This is like the dumbest shit ever. Mischief now grants you 0.3 seconds of invulnerability when transforming into another unit. So now he just literally has a jaunt mechanic on a 20-second cooldown. What? Why did that hero need that? That feels so broken.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching some lanes now where Monkey King just has an inherent advantage now. Like, this isn't a skill. This is just a thing that you get when the game starts. Like, now you can just dodge, like, one right-click in lane. That kind of shit. It is really stupid.
0.3 seconds is not a lot, but it is enough.
Dude, that's enough that if a Lion or a Lina is ulting you, a pro player can dodge that damage every time.
Yeah.
That's bad.
But the cooldown's 20 seconds now instead of 3 seconds.
Yeah, but it didn't do anything before. Before it was useless. Now it gives you invulnerability.
I can't defend it. I don't know. It's a weird one.
It's so weird. Like, I just don't understand. Like, this hero was already super strong. And now he just gets 0.3 seconds of invulnerability.
Yeah.
I'm really confused by that one. I have no idea why that felt like something that had to be done.
Carry Naga does not feel great right now. That's my last rant. Well, one of the pub games I lost yesterday. Enemy team had a position 1 Slark. We had a position 1 Naga. One of them felt like a carry, and one of them didn't. I don't know if Radiance is the build, but my guy tried to go for like Diffusal, Basher, Blink or something. It was just fucking
I've seen
garbage.
a lot of Diffusal. It seems kind of strong when they're good players. But...
Maybe, but I mean, it just... I don't know how you farm fast enough to overtake. Like Slark just feels so much scarier right now. I don't know. Maybe it was a bad sample, but...
I like some of the niche changes too. Like, man, this patch is just so massive. I can talk about this shit forever. But like the Vendetta now applying a break, that's pretty cool. Gives Nyx even more counter pick potential, which I like because I like that hero.
Yeah, he's felt a little underloved. I think that's a nice little buff to him that keeps him pretty much the same. Definitely a fan.
Yeah. Pangolier. Well, I think there were 37 abilities reworked in this patch, something like that. It's kind of that's insane. So, like, I mean, we could talk about that all day, about all these new skills and abilities and everything. Like, Bane and Rubik come to mind with their status resistance things that are odd and, like, amping how their spells work and shit.
Yeah.
Pangolier with this lucky shot. Don't like this one. 20% chance to apply a debuff for 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds that slows the target by 40% and cause the target to be either silenced or disarmed. So you have essentially a 20% chance when you attack someone to silence or disarm them for 5 seconds. Like, I hate things that you can't play around properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's RNG mechanics at the end of the day. The stuff where it just feels sort of random and bursty and like, wow, I got punished really hard for something that was completely random. Cool.
Yeah, not big on that one. So pretty surprised by that. This whole weird blur ability that she now has for PA, that was really confusing me because I played a game where a PA was in it and I did not understand what was happening.
Yes.
She was being smoked every once in a while. It was really weird.
Yeah, talk about not being friendly for new players. I think that PA change is just confusing even for an experienced hand. But I've only seen a couple of PAs. But Let's switch gears, dude. Let's talk about KL a little bit. That's
let's.
Great patch analysis, Trent. That was really great. This
could go on that. Yeah, we could go on that forever, honestly.
So first major has been complete. Malaysia,
Dun-dun.
definitely a fun place. A great Dota culture down there in Southeast Asia. Venue was absolutely massive, an impressive setup, and pretty solid fan turnout.
Nice.
Most things considered. There are definitely some camera shots that didn't do it justice, where it looked like the venue was kind of empty. It was more that just the seating was better higher up, so was the audio quality. So it was filled kind of from the top down. And on top of that, a lot of the panels, when you're looking at the background, that's when people get up to go buy stuff and go to the bathroom because they pack in during the game. And obviously you're not seeing the crowd when the game is on. So
I saw some Reddit comments saying this, and that it is true that those seats that were behind the panel were reserved seats for media and shit. Like, that was literally the emptiest part of the stadium.
yeah, it's true.
So that was a little unfortunate. Like,
It's true.
That one section was just like empty, but if you looked everywhere else, there's people everywhere.
Yeah. No, you're
So-
absolutely right about it. And it was kind of fun for us. I mean, we got to do a couple fill panels, so it was a little weird. There were a couple times where I glance over and I just see that the empty chairs behind us, and you have that like, oh wow, what a tough room here. Jeez.
Yeah.
Cast into the empty chairs. But God, I don't even know where to start with this one. It was kind of cool. Like, this is really the first event that I've cast since the Super Major, actually. So I've been a little dormant. TI, I was just a spectator. There's a break after TI, and didn't really participate much in that early round of events. A couple of the guys there, like I know Fogged and Kyle, Slacks, and I guess Owen, maybe Shiver. They did like the full grind, the Hamburg, the Dream League, into the Major. So that was like 56 days on the road with no stop back home. That's pretty insane. That's like 2 months of just straight Dota, straight event life. So it was a cool mix of talent perspective. You had me, who's like, guys, I can't wait. Oh, my God, another Dota event. Let's do it. And then the guys that are on day like 48, like, fucking kill me. I'm going to go watch Netflix in my bedroom. I mean, I love Dota, but oh my God, I want to go home so bad. And it's like, you can't blame them. You get to this point where you just get tired of hotel food and, not having a kitchen and not being able to see your family and pets. And, it's just funny where you have this kind of degree of perspective, and it's just funny how you can observe that. I mean, it happens to all of us, man. I get that same feeling if I'm on the road for back-to-back events. It's just, you're on edge, you have that feeling of fucking, okay, let's just,
that feeling of like, I just want to go home.
Yeah,
like,
it's
like,
amazing how quickly it catches
obviously.
up to you. Yeah, it's not about the work.
best.
It's everything outside of the work. The casting in the Dota is the escape from reality that we all enjoy. That's the great part. Everything else is that it's sitting on the shuttle in traffic waiting to get to work every day. All of us are used to working from home. The nature of just having to get up, get dressed, and then commute on the bus is a huge change for all of us. And that sounds like really whiny and ridiculous to everyone out there that has to commute every day, but it really does like wear you down more than you would expect when you're used to just getting up and casting from your basement. It's a world of difference.
Like, you're able to control so much of your own time schedule when you're casting online shit. Or for example, the whole first half of the tournament, more than the first half, obviously, was in the hotel. Which was so good.
Oh my God, it feels great for casters. You just get on the elevator, you eat breakfast, you just walk over to the casting area. Okay, guys, I'm ready for work today. Yeah.
It's like, my cast is in 40 minutes. Oh, I'll hop in the shower, head downstairs. Oh, they're finished up the panel. Hey guys, let me just sit down in my chair and start the game. Oh man, that is the life.
The group stage was a lot of fun. I think the format was definitely intense. Some of those days went really late. Definitely felt bad for OD and Fogged. Was it day 2 when they were on until like 11 p.m. or 1 a.m., something like that. Yeah. That was pretty brutal. The nature of GSL doing it all in one day is you're a little bit beholden to the worst case scenario.
A big mistake. Honestly. I don't understand why you would do it all in one day and not spread it over 2. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was one of the more ubiquitous criticisms of the format was just, I mean, I know Misery talked about it a lot in that KLXL we did of just having, sometimes it happens where a team will have an off day where just having that ability to sleep, reset, come back fresh can let you play some better Dota, and having those really long, grindy kind of gauntlet marathons coupled with the complaints that PPD had, where the way the bracket works out, you might play the same team twice, and it really, you might go 1-1 in terms of series, and the second one is really all that matters. It's a little peculiar. We definitely saw kind of the dark side of the GSL format. But, of course, the upside is no tiebreakers. That's one thing people always have to consider. Tiebreakers fucking suck. It's great to have a format that avoids them and has a fairly set schedule. But anyway.
It just feels weird to be like, that format would not be acceptable if the bottom team got eliminated. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So why is it okay when they don't get eliminated? They just get to go to the bottom of the group. I don't know.
Because they get a second chance, because it's the nature of seeded into a double elim. I think that helps a lot. Any group stage that's for elimination at a major level tournament, I think, is kind of a mistake. I think the group stage really should be designed for seeding. It can be very weighted seeding, like starting in lower bracket round 1. Or a lower bracket best of ones in the first round, rather. But, it could have been worse. It's not the worst format we've ever seen, but in some ways, I think it's good that we're getting down to this. It's kind of a science at this point, and I think we've pretty much refined formats to the point that we're making good adjustments and heading in the right direction, and they're pretty valid complaints, and they're not overblown. I like that the players weren't really like, hey, this entire format's fucking garbage, this sucks. It was like, hey, this aspect of it just needs to be changed. Overall, this is pretty good, but we're at 90%. We just need to push that final stretch. I think that's reasonable.
What else happened at the major? Obviously, VP, congratulations. They're pretty much guaranteed to go to TI. It's some insane math that would mean they didn't get there, but
yeah,
you can pretty much count yourselves. And honestly, you can probably almost say the same thing for Secret. And then someone like EG, if they manage to finish just like second somewhere else, they'll also, like second or third, again, they'll probably be guaranteed too.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
It's kind of crazy. But, I mean, that's fine. There's only 5 majors. Yeah. I think you've earned it if you win one.
Knowing that there's only 5 majors, you have to ask yourself, should every major winner be at TI? Generally speaking, I think saying yes to that is pretty okay. You still got a lot of room for other teams in terms of DPC to fill in those remaining slots. Pretty into it. I definitely would like to see more teams seeded into future majors, though. Like VP, EG, Secret, I would say invite them to the next major. What are they playing qualifiers for?
Yeah.
That's at this point, that is my really only big remaining criticism of this DPC circuit. I think there needs to be more rollover from event. I think top 3 is totally reasonable when you're looking at 16-team tournaments.
I don't know. At the same time, I then think about things like, but the qualifiers are also like kind of stacked. So if you're that one team who missed out, now that's removing one more slot for you. And if it's only 5 majors in a year, they should at least be able to earn their spot there amongst their region.
And I will say it definitely, the way the points are weighted makes up for it. So that is one fair thing. I think if you did that, you almost have to tweak the points, because now that makes it scary where VP wins the first one. They automatically get invited to the next one. They don't even have to work for it. They by default place top 3 again. It creates a top-heavy snowball scenario. However, is it really that unlikely that VP won't be able to qualify? Maybe, I guess. You're right. They are pretty stacked, but they're probably going to qualify again anyway. So is it really that big of a deal?
Have they announced Have they announced the slot numbers they'll be allocated, by the way? I don't actually know.
I'm not sure either. Not that I've seen.
I tried to look, but
out there.
I know the schedule is out. Like, people are linking it in chat, too. Does anyone know? Because I see that there are slots listed on Liquipedia, but I don't know if these are actually correct. Because the ones on Liquipedia, never mind. They haven't listed them. It's 3 TBD, so it's not said where the extra slots are going. It's obviously 2 from each region, but then the question is, what happens to the last 3 slots? Yeah. We assume it should be allocated 1 to Europe at least. There should be 3 people from Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe another 1 to China. NA's definitely only getting 2. There's no doubt about that. I don't think CIS are going to get 3 either. I would personally give 2 to Europe and 1 to China. I would put 4 slots Europe, probably. That seem fair? OG,
I think
Liquid, Secret, NIP, and then there's still Alliance. Final, yeah, I'd probably give 4
I feel like I
Europe.
can't really argue against it. I actually can't think of a counter argument. So,
yeah, probably.
I'll just go ahead and agree. The highlight of the major for me in my personal world, KLXL, dude, getting to do sanctioned podcast film material at a fucking major. That was unbelievable and so unexpected. Like the first one, the KLXL that we did on the off day, was really just designed to be, hey, we're not doing anything. Let's just turn the stream on so people don't forget about the major. You know, like we have all this gear. We're setting up in the venue. This is a day where all of the talent are off. Why don't we just do something? That's where the idea started. For PGL, it's really not a big additional cost. Again, you have all this gear. You have an extra producer that you can spare. It was originally going to be like a Slacks kind of Malastrix fluff content piece, but then it ended up that they had to go out and film all day on the off day because that's one of the only days you get to make content with players before the main event. And it's sort of a unique time when teams, well, I guess nobody was eliminated by the off day. So anyway, that's your like last really good remaining day. So they were out all day. They asked me, do you want to do this kind of...
No, some teams were eliminated by then. Lots of teams were, remember? Because we played hotel
no, you're
major.
right. The off day wasn't between the group stage. That was just between venue load-in. Yeah, you're right. So some teams have been eliminated. So anyway, doesn't matter. It's still the dream day to make content. Slacks and Mally are occupied. They ask me if I want to do it. There isn't really a great scope carved out. We have a basic list of some managers. We had some players that were sort of tentatively confirmed. Some of them didn't show up. We had a few extra players that did show up. So it was a very much like last second, sort of off the cuff. Let's just throw this together. If you watched it, you saw we did just live rotations. Like, all right, cool. See you later, Cyborg Matt. All right, come on in, Ninja Boogie. Yep, just walk in front of the camera. Just sit down, pop the headset on, you know. So it was a very casual environment, but it was really cool. We went for like 3 hours. We delved into some pretty cool, like, dense stuff. You know, we talked about some of the TNC drama. We talked to Misery about, like, the format, like, retirement stuff. We had a great talk with the Secret CEO and Cyborg Matt. We even got Slacks to talk, like, seriously about making content. Him and Malastrix gave me a hard time because I asked everybody what it was like to make fluff content with him. But, you know, it was really cool. And the first one, it was late local. So it was actually broadcast at a pretty rough time for our primary audience. And there are definitely a few people that didn't realize it was just a fill piece that were asking when the games would start. But there was enough positive feedback that we were able to do it again at the main event. You know, the next day we had
that was interesting.
Yeah, we had a long gap because the way it was set up, it was multiple lower bracket games in a row, which the teams wanted, by the way. That was one thing that we didn't communicate enough. A lot of people were flaming PGL for the, quote, shitty setup where lower bracket teams play back-to-back for elimination on the same day and only get like an hour break. They asked the teams that were remaining how they wanted to handle that. That was the solution the teams suggested. PGL literally just did what the teams wanted, and they agreed to sort of a variable. I think some teams had said, hey, if we're in this situation, we only need like a 20-minute break to reset, and then we want to play again immediately. And other teams said, we're going to want like a full hour to eat and relax a little bit and then let the full series start. So it just so happened that the teams that wanted a slightly longer break were the ones that had to play in the lower bracket, so we had this hour-and-a-half gap. Immediately, Slacks goes, boys, let's do a fill panel. He goes to production. He asks Silvio first. He passes him on to the producer. Seb goes, okay, if you want to do it, it sounds good. Do you have people? I'm like, I mean, I guess I'll do it. And then we wrangled BSJ and Black into doing it with us. They didn't even really know what they were signing up for. That was like 10 minutes worth of prep. We just go out there in front of this audience, do a live hour fill session. Slacks and I felt kind of up and down about it. We're like, that wasn't our best fill, but it wasn't that bad. It's still better than a wait screen. We didn't really get much feedback. I think the producer told us it was, quote, good, which usually isn't really a great sign if you read between the lines in terms of talent work. The next morning, we're sitting there. It's Saturday, the day before the grand finals. It's 10 a.m. in the green room. Producer comes in and says, hey, guys, we have the exact same gap in the schedule today. How about you do another fill panel? And I swear to God, Slacks' face lit up like a Christmas tree. He's like, another fill panel? This one, we're going to nail it. So we wrangled Trent, we wrangled Grant, and we had a quick, like, 25-minute fill panel on the second to last day.
I bailed hard on the first one. I think that was the correct move though, because it put other people on. Because like we literally just did it the day before, so I didn't want to be the three of us again. You know what I mean? So
no, you're absolutely right, and it was just a cool experience. And part of the reason why PGL wanted us to do it the second day was because they realized that the concurrent viewers went up during that break. It started like 40K, and by the end of the fill panel, we were up to like 45, 46K. And it's not a big jump in viewers, but from a production standpoint, that's way better than losing like 10 or 15K viewers if you just put up a wait screen or just, queue up highlights or some relatively low engagement content. It's the exact same kind of mentality we had at Captain's Draft, where we did that long fill panel, and instead of losing viewers during a tech issue, we were able to actually gain viewers and make a joke out of it and keep the show going.
Create a legendary time.
But it was an incredible experience and opportunity to be able to bring kind of that energy to a serious major level tournament and do it in a way that was entertaining and still PC, right? Like at Moonduck events, we have that flexibility to curse and talk about poop and say whatever we want. This is a totally different ball game, dude. We can't just go out there and curse and make fart jokes to fill the time. We had to actually have a conversation with, and still be pretty professional about it. And I think that was fun. It was a cool challenge, and I hope we get to do it again, dude. Fucking Phil Masters over here.
PGL liked it, so hopefully we'll see it once more.
But shout out to PGL for giving us the opportunity. I'm always happy to work with tournament organizers that are receptive to ideas and that are willing to, like, with 10 minutes notice, be like, all right, I trust you. Let's give it a go. Why not have a try? So anyway, that was the highlight for me. As you could tell, I'm all excited about it, dude. Any opportunity to plug the Trent and Zyori podcast, you know me.
Yeah, I liked how many times it was mentioned. It was really funny.
Well, now it's a meme. Now I can't not do it because I know everybody expects it and they all make fun of me for it. But you guys went in on Shiver on that last Phil panel, though. There was a whole 3-minute segment about how Shiver has become such a needy host Shiver. And talent. Yeah, it
was great.
It was a lot of fun. But it was a good tournament, though. Really a lot of exciting Dota, even though the patch felt very figured out. I felt like it was a great way to wrap up that meta. All of us were tired of it. All of us were desperately seeking 7.20, but we still saw some variation. We still saw some exciting picks. By the end of the tournament, we weren't seeing Arc Warden every game. It was still a little bit fresh. I think we were all very intrigued by the drafts and the games.
Yeah, now we get to all the new excitement of the new patch. Can't wait. I guess what's next for the major will be just watching. If you guys are looking for games to watch right now, there's currently Epicenter qualifiers going on at the moment. I know there's another tournament too. What is it? The Winter Clash doesn't start till December. There's some other qualifiers. DPL's on. Been watching a lot of DPL.
Yeah, I mean the Chongqing major qualifiers are going on, and the Bucharest minor qualifiers start actually pretty soon. I think they're scheduled for December 1st.
First week of December.
So it's like 10 days from now, 9 days from now, something like that.
I don't know
if that's been exactly figured out, but I mean that's what's great about this DPC circuit. It's nonstop. We're going to get a little break for Christmas, but that train keeps on rolling, dude.
Oh, jeez. Oh, the life, dude. I don't know.
Tired. I'm still jet lagged, I have to say.
Me too.
I have not recovered yet. I'm still waking up at random times. I'm like sleepy now, even though it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting enough sleep, but I can't quite catch back up. It's good though. Lots of time off this time. I'm not going anywhere. Had a few offers now, like, I'm staying home.
Yeah.
December is the off month.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of personal travel. I'm going to go home before Christmas for a little half week there. So my travels are nonstop, but it's great to be able to travel to cast. It really is the dream. And I feel lucky that I'm in a place now where I get to work these events, but I'm not working too many because I definitely very quickly get travel burned out. Like I can't do those 3 events in a row. I've been in that position when I was a full-time caster. Yeah. And I don't miss it. I really like being able to do one event, have 3 or 4 weeks off, do another event, have 3 or 4 weeks off, because I come back feeling fresh and hungry for it and excited. And I hate it when I'm at an event and I just feel drained and burned out. And like, I love the Dota, but I just would rather be home right now. It's so much more fun when you have that opposite feeling of like, it's great to have an adventure. Let's go fucking get some pork tea,
True.
We had a little Malaysian cuisine. I also have to say, dude, my most trafficked tweet ever, almost 1,100 retweets. I had nasi lemak for breakfast for like 3 days in a row. I tweeted it. I knew I was pandering to the audience when it came out, but goddamn, dude, Malaysians are passionate about their food. I got so many food suggestions from that thing. 1,100 retweets for their national dish.
Actually, a viral tweet.
What's
legitimately viral?
Unfortunately, we didn't get to go out and get the authentic cuisine as much as we would have liked, but we did go out with Roland one night. He took us out. The pork tea really was quite good. I don't know what that other shit was called, but it was also pretty tasty.
Oh, pork was so good.
Yeah, gotta love it. Gotta love it, man. If you go to Malaysia, you got to find a local to take you to the spot. I don't know what those little places are called, but that kind of food setup doesn't really exist in North America. Those like open seating, sort of almost like open kitchen.
Yeah. It's kind of European too. Like they kind of have stuff like that too. I guess a lot of it's climate based, obviously.
Yeah, but it's hard to explain, and because it's so hot in Malaysia, people eat once the sun goes down. So they're actually popping at like 11 p.m. It's one of the best places to get late night food in the world. Oh yeah,
it's like Mexico, same kind of deal.
Yeah. It's incredible. But all right, boys and girls, I think it's time to wrap this one up. Thanksgiving, have a good one. Turkey Day, destroy some food. Say thank you to your friends and family.
Not gonna be cooked.
Yeah, dude, it's just about 10 o'clock here.
Screwed.
I'm getting hungry. I'm nervous. I gotta go shopping. I'm gonna go buy a backup turkey or something. Trent, good luck to you. Good luck with the baby. Happy American Thanksgiving. Give my best to your family. And
when are you gonna want to play some pubs tonight,
dude? It depends on how this party goes.
After Turkey Day,
I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm pretty in. If not, I'm down to play tomorrow as well. What the Duck will be coming at some point. I'm trying to rally the troops. It's difficult with the holidays, but this weekend, early next week, something like that, we're hoping to get another podcast in. So stay tuned to the social media. You'll find this audio only over at Zyori.tv. Until next time, boys and girls, we'll see you later.